ladies. Happy Sunday. I hope you are all well. Send me a hello. Let me know how you're doing. So today is a Q&A live session. Please, please, please ask me anything that you want, okay? Any struggles that you're having on a psychological and emotional perspective in terms of your weight loss journey. Tell me that you're here. Let me know that you're watching. Say hello. I'm going to just keep checking. I seem to have issues with knowing who's put what in the comments. So if I miss you, please, please, please don't take it personally. It's literally that stuff isn't coming up, which I saw from the last live session actually. So yeah, we're already having a few problems here. All right. So today's Q&As, I've actually had members messaging me and asking me questions, which has been brilliant. I would be more than happy for anybody who has questions to ask me and let me know. Yeah, because then I can bring them in like this and I can make sure that they get asked. All right, so the first question that I've got here is how to stop procrastinating. I tell you what, this one comes up a lot. It really does. A lot of people struggle when it comes to procrastination. Why? Because we don't actually get to the root of what that issue is. You've got to know what procrastination actually is on a psychological and an emotional perspective for you to actually be able to do something about it. Yeah, and this is what I am finding more and more in the conversations that I have, not just with my clients, but in some group sessions that I also do. And these are the issues that come up time and time again. Procrastination is the number one issue. It doesn't matter what it's related to, whether it be related to a work situation or a personal goal achieving situation, whether it's weight loss, whether it's trying to cut down on your drinking, whether it's you trying to get stuff done on your to-do list, or just hobbies. I had a client who really wanted to learn to play the guitar, and he was having so many issues. He brought everything, he got his guitar, he got down the lessons, he paid for them, but just getting on it and being able to play that guitar as often as he would like to, even though he had the time, he found really, really difficult. So it really does come up time and time again. Hello to whoever's there. Let me know that you're here. Give me a wave, give me a shout, drop something in the comments. Like I said, I might not necessarily see them in the comment section when you pop them in, but I'll see them at some point, hey. So why do we procrastinate? Brilliant question. Thank you for the person that sent that in. I don't have those details now. All I managed to do was get those questions down. So procrastination comes from, good morning, Amanda. Lovely to have you. So procrastination comes from us not being present. Okay, so if I'm procrastinating, it means I want to do something, but I'm avoiding it. Okay, if I'm avoiding something, I'm going to use, good morning, Belinda. I'm going to use a number of techniques to avoid that particular thing. Now, avoidance is what? Sorry, that was a fly. It wasn't me, just part of the conversation. Avoidance is what? Avoidance is me feeling a particular way about something, me not knowing what to do with that feeling, so now me finding a way to avoid it by distracting and by using the multitude of defense mechanisms that we have in play. In order for you to truly get down to the root of your procrastination, you've got to understand and find where that emotion is, what is it, and what is it related to. Because there's a feeling. So let me give you an example. About the client who wants to play guitar, but he just doesn't get around to it. He ends up procrastinating. So And he really, really wants to play the guitar, okay? Just like you really, really want to get fit, get toned, lose weight, eat well, feel healthier. We really want to do these things, but why is it that we don't? So, what was happening with him was that he would get to that point in the evening when he had the time to play his guitar. What he would do is do anything else but play the guitar. Why? Because there's an emotional part of him that is feeling anxious. Anxious about what? About now having to take that time to use the energy, new energy. So I've already just got through the day. I've already done all the things I didn't want to do. Yeah, I meaning an emotional part of you didn't want to do, and now I'm here. And although, morning Sarah, and although there's a part of me that wants to play the guitar, there's another part of me that doesn't. Why? Because there's another part of me that's shattered. There's another part of me that can't be bothered. But hold on a minute, I want to play the guitar. Well, here's what I keep mentioning to you ladies time and time again. There are elements of you, and when these elements are not in line, when they're not in agreement, you will then start to notice you're having issues in the things that actually we all do want to do. This relates directly, procrastination relates directly to emotional needs. When your emotional needs, all of them, yeah, because you have an emotional need which is a very young part of you, you have an emotional need which is a teenager part of you, and then you have an emotional need which is the adult part of you. When your emotional needs and physical needs are not being met, you will avoid. And we have defense mechanisms that we pick up from our caregivers, mum, dad, whoever brought you up, grandparents, whoever you was around most of the time, aunts, uncles, siblings. We pick up defense mechanisms to then avoid. My mum used to go to the kitchen and eat, right? She would sit there eating and picking on sweet food whenever she was stressed out. So what I learned to do, and she would do it when no one was around, not necessarily to hide it, but that's just what she did. So what I would do is when no one was around, I would eat and pick on food. It wasn't necessarily sweet for me, it was more savory. So what I would do is I would use savory food. Why? To avoid, yeah, to defend myself from that feeling. And this is part of procrastination. What feeling is that? I'm feeling sorry for myself. Okay, what does sorry for myself actually mean? And this is what's happening to Mr. Guitar Man, right? He's sitting there, and there's a part of him that's like, no, I'm tired. Oh, the anxiety of now, I need to go and get the guitar. I need to make sure, tune it up. I need to make sure I can find all my bits. I then need to sit down and get comfortable. I then need to look and do some work and learn how to play the guitar. Although the adult is like, yeah, but you want to do this, don't you? I'm tired. One, physical energy. Emotionally, I'm tired. What does that mean? Oh, good question. When I'm emotionally tired, what I'm saying is I'm low in love. But you didn't know that, did you? And when I am low in love, yeah, when I am not feeling like I'm happy, I'm not feeling like I'm excited because all I'm doing is things I have to do rather than things, and this is the young part of you, things I want to do. What am I going to be? I'm going to be emotionally exhausted because it's all just about doing all the things that I don't want to do, but I have to do. Now it's impacting the things that I want to do. Why? Because now I'm tired. Yeah? Using the energy to learn how to now energy that I don't want to use. I would rather zone out. Now, why am I going to want to zone out? My emotional needs are not met. That's making me feel really, really tired. So now my physical energy is starting to deplete, and now I genuinely want to just zone out. Now, I will use my phone or Netflix, because that's what everybody's doing, including me. I will find a series for me to binge watch. What am I doing when I'm binge watching? I'm disassociating. What is disassociating? Disassociating is me not being in the present moment. It's me using anything to distract and avoid. And that's why Netflix is doing so well, because binge watching a bunch of series, or a bunch of episodes in a season and then another season in a series, is actually one of the easiest ways to procrastinate. So procrastination is what? It's me avoiding the feelings and the thoughts that come with these feelings, me avoiding and not knowing what to do with them. I'll do anything but deal with them, and so now I will procrastinate. How to stop procrastinating? You have to meet that emotional need. You can't keep ignoring it. You can't keep avoiding it, because it's there. It's an emotional part of you that is feeling a certain way. And it's only when you address that, give it what it needs. If you can't completely meet the need, at least come to a compromise. What is that emotional part of you saying? She's talking to you. She's a young part of you, actually. She's a young, very fearful, feels quite vulnerable, but also a very magical part of you. And if you can start to meet that element's needs, they're not logical needs, they're emotional needs. If you can start to be kinder to yourself, if you can start to listen, how do you feel when you're talking to a friend or somebody you love dearly and you're telling them about how you're feeling and they don't actually listen to you? Yeah, or they look like they're listening, but they're not actually listening. They're basically just sitting there, yeah, to make the right noises and think about a solution. How many times does that happen to you? It happens a lot, doesn't it? How do you feel then when a friend is sitting there who you know is not really hearing you, not because they don't want to, they just don't know how to, and then you know that what you said didn't go in, and you didn't feel like you were heard, you didn't feel like you were understood, and you're just like, meh. Well, that's what's happening to that emotional part of you. She feels like, no, nobody cares. She's not even listening to me. I'm talking and she doesn't even want to listen. She's not even pretending to listen. She doesn't even want to hear what I'm saying and then try and at least do something about it, even if it's little. No, she's just going to ignore me. Why? Because she doesn't have the energy herself. And so now you can see, right? It becomes this self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling cycle, because now the adult part of you also is shattered. The adult part of you doesn't know what to do. The adult part of you is like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that, and I'm tired, and and then the little one, that emotional part of you is like, oh, nobody cares, nobody loves me. And then you have a teenage part of you who's like, sod you all, I hate you. Who is that person talking to? Well, you. I hate you. I'm not going to do anything that it is that you want to do. And that's when the binge watching, the disassociating, the avoiding, and the ignoring kicks in. Yeah? Sarah, I think procrastinate. I think procrastinate was my most used word at university. It is even now. It's the most used word. I get that a lot from people who say to me, all I do is procrastinate and I don't understand why. But this is the key, isn't it? You've got to understand why. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Not just that, you mustn't judge it. And I harp on about this every time, and I'll keep harping on about it because it's the most important thing that you're ever going to learn. And that is that the moment that you make a judgment on any part of you or even another, but forget anyone else for now, the minute you make a judgment on any part of you, you lose the ability to work on it. You lose the ability to do anything with it. Because a judgment means you've just given it a bunch of fear. Now, when you give something or someone fear, they can no longer work on it. They will actually now either fight or flight. They'll either try and fight with you or they'll run. That's it. So you'll get a part of you that's now either going to argue with you, which is when you get tired and think, God, I can't be arsed, let's put Netflix on, or they'll just fly off, disassociate. See, you've literally those responses are going to get you nothing. So what you've got to do is you've got to go, God, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. And give it acknowledgement. Do what you would want a really good friend of yours to do. Do what you would want a loved one of yours to do if you was talking. What do you want them to do? You want them to sit there and look at you and listen. You want them to care. But when's the last time you cared about what that part of you was saying? When's the last time you sat down and went, all right, you know what? Get a book, write it out, journal it out. If you don't want to look like you're losing the plot, if you don't want to come across as if you're talking to an invisible friend of yours, journal it out. But you know what? Get it out. Because if you don't, procrastination will be your enemy that will follow you around and always be there. Because that's what procrastination is. It's emotional needs that are not met. Belinda, this is so me at the moment. Yeah. Having just been made redundant. Oh, I'm sorry. I am procrastinating on where to go next. Absolutely. And what we'll do is we'll avoid it. Why? Because it causes, Belinda, your little one, it causes her lots of fear. She's a very young part of you. Logic is not going to help her. Even if we know everything's going to be okay, even if you, as an adult, is like, well, actually, I know I'm going to be absolutely fine. One, because I'm a genius, and obviously, everybody would be mad not to have me and want me. But two, I'm an intelligent genius who can go and do anything. The world is my oyster. Yeah, it is. But your little one is not going to feel that. That young, fearful part of you, she's petrified. And what we want to do is give her that safe space to come into. Yeah? To say to her, listen, I know it's scary. I know, and it is scary. I promise you, everything's going to be okay. But you know what? It's okay for you to feel as scared as you need to for as long as you need to. Because I'm here giving you cuddles, yeah, giving you kisses on your forehead because you are so lovely whilst you're feeling scared. Yeah, and to give that part of you that safe space where she feels held. Doesn't matter how logical you are, it doesn't matter how much you know that you're going to be okay. If we don't do that, yeah, with our emotional self, then she will always be in the corner scared because she is not logical, she is not rational, she is highly emotional. And what you want to do with that is just give it love, nothing else. You don't have to fix it, you don't have to solve it. She doesn't want fixing and solving like adults do. She doesn't want solutions. But when's the last time you spoke to somebody and they were just, I don't know, belting off solutions to you and you were like, oh, I don't need solutions. I overthink, and so I have 150,000 thoughts a day, and 50,000 of those were solutions. I don't need solutions. I just want someone to just listen, to nod and go, yeah, yeah. I want to feel heard. I want to feel heard. I want to feel understood. I just want to feel like someone cares and that they listen, they make the right noises, they give me some loving energy, and then I can go, I feel better now because I can just get it out. Emotional vomit is what I call it to my when I talk to my clients and explain what it's about. Emotional vomit is when you can just get it all out and not worry about somebody on the other end now thinking they've got to do something about it. That they can just listen to you, give you that safe space, let you bring it all out. You can say everything and anything you want, whether it be logical or rational or irrational. Get it all out. You were listened to, you were heard, and then you can just get on your way. Need to get it down on paper. Yes, Belinda, and write an action plan. Yeah, an action plan is great, but believe me or not, if you can put 75% of the work into meeting the emotional needs, the other it's the same as project management. Project management, 85% of project management is the planning, and then 15% is the execution. In terms of a human being able to go off and do what they need to do, 85% of the work is in meeting the emotional need. That's actually 85% of the work. And hearing everybody, that's 85% of the work. The 15% is then in going, right, now what we're going to do about it, and then go off and do it. And again, we don't do that, do we? We're taught, this is what you do on a logical, on a process-driven, rational perspective. You need to get motivated. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. Belinda, bloody love the emotional vomit. Yeah, and we need to emotionally vomit. There aren't enough spaces out there where people can just emotionally vomit and then just carry on and get on with it. There aren't enough. And any client I see, the first thing that they need for the first few months when I see them is to come into session And for 1 hour, they go, blah, 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 and then this happened, and then that happened, and I feel like this. And then they cry and they get it all out. And then they're like, yeah. And then, and then this is what I'm thinking about that, but I don't know. I'm feeling like this. Why do I keep? And they just vomit it all out. I don't sit there and say anything. I had one client from start to finish for like 65 minutes because we went over, just getting it all out. And she went through the entire spectrum of emotions. She went from real deep rooted fear, this darkness, and she went all the way to then the passion. And then she came all the way back and went through all of those feelings, those 232 feelings in the middle, and just went like that, like a yo-yo back and forth through the emotional spectrum. And that's what she needed. She needed that. And then once she gets it, she goes on her way and she says to me, I had a much better week. I felt quieter inside. I could hear more of what was being said. And because I could hear more, I could give it what it needed, or even give it the attention, even if I can't give it a solution. So, emotional vomit is brilliant. My partner calls it blah blah blah. And you know what? This is the I like that. I like that a lot. Blah 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 is brilliant. Why? Because emotional vomit, the person doesn't want solutions. They don't want resolution. They don't even care really if you're listening as much. But what they want is for you to make the right noises, to summarize and paraphrase. So you're feeling really procrastinating, are you? Yeah, I know there's not such a word as procrastinating. I'm just trying to. So you've been procrastinating, have you? Yes, I've been procrastinating. Blah 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 blah. Get it all out. Get it all out. Oh God, and how does that make you feel? Oh my God, it makes me feel blah 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 blah. And that's another 20 minutes. And then you go, God, that must be really hard. It really is. Blah 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 blah. And that's your 20 minutes. That's your 60 minutes done, isn't it? 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and 20 minutes done. So again, procrastinating. I do get there, but in the end, and answer the question, I go the long scenic route. Procrastination is what? Procrastination is when you are not meeting an emotional need. It's either going to be the young part of you, that fear part of you that's not getting what she needs, because when I'm scared, what do I need? I need someone to make me feel safe. That's all I need to do. She's not getting what she needs. Or it's that teenage part of me who's frustrated, who's agitated, who's seriously had enough, and she's not getting what she needs. Nobody's listening. Nobody's trying to find a space for her or make some time for her to be able to go, all right, come on then. You need a bit of time out, or you need a bit of, I don't know, fun time, or you need a bit of crazy time. I don't know, whatever time it is that part of you needs, it's to give it to her. And I say her, I don't mean that in I've got multiple identities way. I mean that in your emotional part of you will always be very different to the logical part of you. Listen, your left hemisphere and your brain is in half, it's cut in half. Yeah, and there's this little bridge that connects both hemispheres of your brain, the left and the right. The right is where the emotions reside. The right is where your intuition resides. The right is where your creativity resides. And that's where your emotional selves, the young part of you and the teenage part of you, reside. They're in the right. Your logic resides in the left. Your language resides in the left. Your process-driven manner resides in the left. All of those clear-cut, very logical, balanced things, they reside in the left. Now, the left is the masculine, the right is the feminine. It's not about man or woman, because every human has 50% left, 50% right. If you look at the brain, it's not that a man's left brain is massive and his right brain is little, and a woman's right brain is massive and her left brain is little. Not at all. We have an equal part, man or woman, it doesn't matter. But they are the feminine part of us and the masculine part of us. Your job is to make sure that the feminine and the masculine are both getting what they need. Procrastination is when your feminine is not getting what she needs. Yeah, your masculine is, because there's too much logic going on, but the feminine is not getting what they need. And men, it's exactly the same thing. Men need exactly the same emotional attention, emotional safe space that women need. We don't look at it like that. And again, men are taught not to necessarily give it. Now, the difference is that testosterone gives a man the ability to be more of a doer than a beer, whereas estrogen gives a woman more being than doing. And that's the only difference between a man and a woman. It's the hormones, and obviously the genitalia, but you know what I mean. It's the hormones. Now, what we have to learn to do as any human, and I have exactly the same amount of male clients as I have female clients, which is, which is really good news, because it means that men are recognizing that, they want to put that work in, because they know that it plays a big part in their success as a human, and success as in for you to reach a point that you feel like you've actualized as a human, that you've figured out, actually, what do I feel my purpose is, where, what do I want to achieve in my life, and then to go off and feel like I can in a healthy, balanced way. So again, it's about making sure that we're giving both parts, the logical part and the emotional part, exactly what they need. When the two, when the bridge between the left and the right is really sturdy, and these two can talk to each other and work together in a really healthy way, there's nothing you can't do. There'll be nothing that you can't achieve when your left and right hemisphere of your brain are able to talk to each other and respect each other's needs. Your logic respects that the emotional part of you is just as important as the logical part of you. And your emotional part respects that logic and doing are important. Processes are important. But one is not more important than the other. And that's the key. Both are just as important. So, the other question I got, which relates actually to that one, to this one, is why do my unproductive days get me down so much? Brilliant question. Because there is a part of you making a judgment, and that affects the emotional part of you, who, like I said, is young. She is all about fear. She's about 3 years old, actually. So how do you think a 3-year-old feels if you're always telling them off? They're going to become introvert. They're going to become subdued and then feel really, really down. So my unproductive days get me down. Why? Because I am judging myself by saying, well, at least the internal dialogue, the inner dialogue is, even if you're not saying it out loud. But the inner dialogue is saying, oh, you haven't done much today, really, have you? You've had a lazy day today, haven't you? I wonder what knock-on impact that's going to have on your week. Look what you didn't do. Look what you should have done. How many times have we said that you must do X, Y, and Z? Look at all those words. They bring the fear of God into the little one. It's really scary to hear that all of the time. So an unproductive day means I didn't do very much, which means your inner dialogue is now constantly harping on about that and making judgments, which means the young, fearful, or the emotional part of you is now feeling told off, like they haven't done something. And so when you feel told off, when you've been told off and you feel like you haven't done something and you're like, meh, is now feeling subdued, and so you feel down. What is down? Down is sad. What is down? Down is maybe anxious. What is down? Down, disappointed. Maybe even frustrated. So now a down day is what? Is that I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling subdued. Now, instead of me calling it a down day, I think I need to call it I've been having a go at myself day. Or there's been a lot of judgment in my inner dialogue day. Okay, well, listen, judgment, if I judge you, you are going to behave a certain way. If you judge you, you're going to behave in the same way. The difference is you're aware that I'm judging you, and so you can go and then behave however you're going to. You're either going to go, how dare you, or you're going to go, oh my God, I'm such a bad person. Because we are either introvert or extrovert, right, emotionally. So I'll either make it about me or make it about you. And then when you do it with your inner dialogue, you have exactly the same reaction. The difference is it's not tangible. You don't see it. Whereas if I'm having a pop at you, you know about it. Yeah. So again, if you are going to behave in ways with your inner dialogue in ways that's not going to be helpful to you, then you are going to end up feeling in those ways, which means you're going to end up behaving in those ways. It's not rocket science. I'll be highlighting this to you every time I talk to you. Your thoughts affect your feelings, and your feelings affect your behavior. If you can't start to really bring these into awareness and really start to master these elements, your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior is not an element you need to master, actually, because that's the symptom. It's irrelevant. What you've got to master is your thoughts. What you've got to learn to master is your feelings, and learn to work with them in healthy ways so that you can then go off and be and do and feel any which way that you want to. And that's the key, isn't it? That you want to go off and just be able to be happy and content and achieve the things you want to. So, why do my unproductive days get me down so much? Because my inner dialogue is full of judgment, which then is making me feel like crap, understandably. So, what do I need to do? I need to start to highlight what that inner dialogue is doing. Would I talk to someone else that I loved in that way if they'd had an unproductive day? No, I wouldn't. Right, so why am I talking to myself like that? That's not nice. Also, it's hypocritical. So let's not do it. Let's not make judgments. Now, I had another question. Ladies, remember, you can ask me questions in the comments as well if you want. You can pop some in. Oh, did I get one in there? No. You can pop some into my inbox, and then I'll kind of do them on a week after, whatever it is that works. But the other question I had, which is the last one I'll be answering if nobody else pops one in there, is why do I feel so down about myself? Even when I get something done, why do I feel so down about myself? This one is very similar to the question that I just answered about my unproductive days making me feel so down. Why do I feel so down about myself even when I get stuff done? Because my inner dialogue is still judging me even though I've done stuff. So my inner dialogue is not highlighting to me, hey, look what you've got done today. I'm so proud of you, because you could have got nothing done today, but you actually got some stuff done. You know what? 1 foot forward in a journey of 10,000 steps is still 1 step forward. So now we've got this optimistic perspective or this pessimistic perspective. If your inner dialogue is pessimistic, yeah, it's quite negative and it highlights everything you haven't done, then even when you do loads, and let me tell you, what we have to do is recognize that just one thing that I do is one thing more than nothing. And I must be proud of each moment and each step that I take. I must be proud even if I don't put a foot forward, because just getting out of bed every day, yeah, brushing my teeth if I've brushed them. If I haven't brushed them, it's still okay. But even if I get out of bed and brush my teeth, it's an achievement. When I have a shower, it's an achievement. If I don't have a shower, I mustn't judge it. Why? Because I'm still getting out of bed and I'm trying my best. My best will differ every single day. It will be different. If the moon is out, your best will be different. If the moon isn't out, your best will be different. If it's a full moon, your best will be different. If, I don't know, that bird came and sat on that tree today, my best will be different. And if that bird didn't come and sit on that tree, my best will be different. Every day, your body, the world, the atmosphere, nature, every day we do differently. Yeah, some days are going to be absolutely astounding, and other days are going to be really not so great. It's like a tree, though. Does a tree have a bad day where it doesn't have any leaves and it's like, oh, I'm such a bad tree? Oh my God, I'm an awful tree. I should just end it all here because I'm an awful tree. No, it doesn't. Trees have good days and trees have bad days. You're just not there to see them. Do they judge? No, they just get on with it. Why? Because they don't have the curse of language. Yeah? Language makes you think. If you don't have language, you can't think because there isn't any language to think with. You're just feeling and you're having a healthy amount of intuition. Language makes you think, and that's actually our biggest downfall, is when we start thinking about it. So what you want to learn to do is balance the amount that you can think, and you want to learn to influence that. But why do my down days get me down? Because I'm still judging myself. Why? Because I'm holding up standards that I must achieve, which I shouldn't. Really, I shouldn't. I should start focusing on everything that I do and actually go, well done. You know what? I'm proud of you. You know what? Even when you're not able to do half as much as you would prefer to do, I'm still proud of you. Why? Because you got out of bed today. And I know that when COVID days or non-COVID days, just getting out of bed some days is so strenuous. It feels so difficult that, you know what? I want to be able to recognize how proud of you I am, even for doing that. Yeah? Just for being able to get out of bed and do some of the things that I've done, I should be proud of myself. I shouldn't be judging it. I really shouldn't. Why? Because judgment is fear. Fear does what? Fear makes you go down. Love lifts you up. Yeah? The Wind Beneath My Wings. Brilliant song. Some of you must know it. Well, what is the wind beneath your wings? Fear isn't the wind beneath your wings, is it? Nobody's ever sung about that, have they? No. Love is the wind beneath your wings. And the only reason that we call it the wind beneath our wings is because it lifts you. How comes fear doesn't lift you like that? It doesn't. Some people use fear. I used fear to lose 9 stone in weight. 9 stone in weight I lost. And you know what happened? I put it back on again in 5 years. Over the period of 5 years. Not all of it, but quite a bit of it. Why? I didn't use love to do it. I used fear. And after I had learnt that, I now use love. And what that will do is that will be sustaining. It will be so sustaining. Why? Because love is a very powerful energy and it's infinite. Fear runs out. Fear is also really, really highly resistant. And so you feel exhausted when you use fear, but you don't when you use love. When you use love, you feel elevated. You feel like, wow, I can do this every day. My job is something I'm very passionate about. I love it. And I tell you what, I don't even have holidays. I know with COVID, nobody's really having holidays. But in any given year, I might have 2 weeks off if I want to. Otherwise, I don't even have holidays. Why? Because I love, yes, I live in Turkey. I know it is really nice. But I managed to get myself here using what? Love. So again, when you're doing things that you love, you don't even need any of the things you think you're going to need. But if you use fear, I tell you what, it will be not only exhausting, it will not only be something that you don't even appreciate, but you'll end up probably just going back to exactly where you came from. Why? Because you're still doing the same thing. You have to learn that your thoughts are impacting how you feel, and how you feel is impacting your behavior, which means if you're overeating or if you're not doing the exercise that you want to do, it's because the energy that you're using is not actually helping you. So, oh, we've got a couple of comments. So Claire, I used to do a to-do list which helps me to focus. This includes a list of home stuff to do, but I find myself getting stressed with the amount on it. Yeah, and then emotionally eating. And it is, you know what, Claire, that's a brilliant point you've just highlighted, because again, the inner dialogue is looking at all of that going, oh, look, you've got to get all that done. Look what you haven't done yet. Oh, look, this one you haven't done. And again, that is never ever, so to-do lists are great, but again, look, too much of anything is not going to be helpful. What we want to do is for that inner dialogue to go, hey, look, this to-do list will never end. And that's the truth, Claire, actually. Your to-do list will never end. We will keep adding to that list. So what I want to do is not worry about how much is on it. I want to be able to look at it and go, listen, even if we do one thing out of this list, just one thing out of this list, even if it's a little thing, every day, do you know how proud of you I'm going to be? Super proud. And you know what? That's 1 foot forward. That's 1 foot forward on a journey that actually is never going to end. So how's about we not focus on the end of this journey? How about we just let ourselves put 1 foot forward and appreciate and respect and admire ourselves for each foot that we put forward. And some days we might not even put one forward, but that's okay too. You know why? Because I'm a flipping human being. I'm going to have some great days and I'm going to have some crap days. When I can give myself, the support I need on the crap days, I'll have even better great days. I promise you, this doesn't come from some stuff that just sounds good. This is exactly how I got to exactly where I have done. And I tell you what, I live in a beautiful country. I have a job that I work for myself. I'm self-employed. I love my job. I have 2 houses that I've managed to get with my job. I have some beautiful people in my life, and I am the happiest I think I could ever be. And I've done it from where I am trying to kind of give you the tools. I've done it from here. I've done it using love. I grew up in an environment that actually wasn't loving. Let me tell you, it was a very judgmental environment, and that's why I ended up in the situation that I was in. Very, very, very anxious individual, very, very upset, very, very disappointed with myself most of my life, actually. And then when I hit 31 years old, everything started to change. So again, please, please, please note that everything I tell you comes from practice, and it comes from having tried both. I tried fear. I used fear. And I tell you what, it got me what I wanted, but it didn't last very long. Then I used love, and now it's lasted 10 years. And I am here, and I'm the happiest that I've ever been. So please, please, please use love. Yeah. Claire, thank you for that comment. That was really interesting. So Belinda, yep, I am scared to take the plunge and try something new. Of course you are. That's that's the young part of you, and anybody's little one is going to feel that way, Belinda. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter if I'm a CEO of a blue chip company. It doesn't matter if I'm a billionaire or a trillionaire, and all I'm doing is moving from one, I don't know, role to another. It doesn't matter who I am and what I've achieved. Every human being's little one will feel that way. They'll feel scared. Our job is to make sure that we give that little one the safe space she needs. Yeah, to say to her, it's okay to feel scared, because it is. There's nothing wrong with feeling scared, but let's give her that time. Amanda, a part of me is very excited about lockdown ending and getting back to normal, but the other part, of course, is scared that I won't get round to doing all the things that I said I will. Yeah. So again, it's pressure, isn't it, Amanda? That's pressure, and that's the inner dialogue putting pressure on you. Oh, you're telling me you're really excited. You better do the things you said you were going to do. I already feel anxious just listening to that. So again, let's not put pressure on ourselves. Yeah, Amanda, what I think you can say to your little one is, you know what? I know you're excited, and it will be lovely. And no matter what we do, at least we can utilize that time for just one. Even if we put one foot out of the door and go freedom, and then go back in, that's enough. That's enough. Or even if I just go in my garden and go freedom, even though I've not left the door, it doesn't matter. Let's not put a judgment on it. Let's not make it mean anything good or bad. What you're going to do is learn to love. Learn to love and give yourself that love, not someone else. It doesn't matter how much love you can give another person. It's actually irrelevant. It's the amount of love you can give yourself. But anyway, I've harped on for 42 minutes. I'm sure your ears are bleeding. But look, I hope you found that useful. And again, I will harp on about the same stuff every week, every other week. I'm sorry if it bores the crap out of you, but you know what? It's got to be done. Ladies, you've really got to realize that the only way that you're going to be able to go off and do the things you want to do is if you can work with that inner dialogue. Yeah, and it needs to be supportive. It needs to be dialogue that motivates you, not dialogue that puts the fear of everything into you and then makes you feel quite anxious. Thank you very much, ladies. Oh, Amanda, that is so sweet. Hopefully I'll be the voice in your head soon, and then you'll have me babbling on and saying these things to you. But listen, love is what's going to get you there. Thank you very much, ladies, for being here with me. Lovely to have you all here, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everyone. Bye.